There are so many ways that you can practice self-love by just living your life with intention with everything you do. And by doing that, there are things that will fall out of the way, whether it's, I mean, everyone does it, but scrolling Instagram or, watching shows that don't serve you or eating crap food that makes you feel bad. If you live life aligned, all of the things that don't make sense for you will fall out. You're listening to the Almost 30 podcast, a lifestyle podcast hosted by Krista Williams and Lindsey Simsick.
Tune in for a new episode every Tuesday to hear our honest conversations about topics like wellness, entrepreneurship, spirituality, and self-development with guests who are really smart, really inspirational,
and really fucking funny. It's real, it's raw, and it's unfiltered.
Inspired by our transition from our 20s to our 30s, we realized it's so much more than that. Our mission is to provide you with the tools, guidance, and motivation to help you navigate any transitions in your life and propel your personal growth.
Thanks so much for tuning into the Almost 30 podcast.
Here we go.
Hello. Happy Valentine's Day, fam.
Happy Valentine's. We love you.
Yeah, we love you so much. You're single, taken. It's complicated. We love you.
I know. I was thinking of other statuses.
Did you ever do that in Facebook? I think I did that. I was like, it's complicated with like...
I would love to know the it's complicated ones I did.
Wow.
Probably best friends.
There was someone that I know that... Oh my God, my friend Kristen, who you've met, Sloan.
Oh yeah, love Sloan.
Fuck. So at Miami, where I went to college, we were the Red Hawks. And the Red Hawk had a nickname. It was like hockey or something.
Don't tell me.
Sloan was, it's complicated with like hockey, the Red Hawk.
Of course.
It was amazing. Dude, that was so fucking funny. And then one day he just dropped her.
Oh, that's so... Were they friends?
Dude, no. We had no idea who this person was. She just requested.
But he accepted it.
And he accepted it. And he was like official.
That's cool as hell.
Oh my God. I'm going to message her right now.
Remember when you were complicated with hockey?
Yeah. I remember when I told Justin, I was like, hey, you should put in a relationship on your Facebook.
Oh my God. Yeah. Remember when that was the defining moment?
Yep.
When they would switch that.
Oh, 100%. And I had to tell him, I'm like, hey man, you got to change this.
He's like, hey man, don't tell me what to do.
Literally. He was like, I haven't been on Facebook since 1992, but okay.
It's so funny how it's so stupid, but it actually, I remember feeling either excited for or nervous about or anxious around that.
Totally.
Around that switch. And I don't know why, because it's so public.
And you would do, like some people would put their names in a relationship with. Some people would just put in a relationship.
Yeah.
I think mine just says in a relationship. I don't think it says who with.
Oh, right now?
Yeah. I actually don't know if it even says that.
I think mine just didn't say anything.
Yeah. And then most people didn't say anything.
Yeah. But then when you would change it to single and people would be like, direct message you and be like, are you okay?
Yeah. Honestly, what's going on? Oh my gosh. God. Glad that people don't do that shit anymore.
Same. I don't even know what's taken its place. I guess they're just kind of chill.
I know. Yeah. I think people are getting more fluid.
However, it does freak me out if I know someone's in a relationship and they don't have them on their Instagram, unless it's like a super curated, like specific Instagram. I'm like, huh?
Say no more.
I'm like, there's something fucking fishy and I need you to know.
You got that. You got so many characters and you're going to do that.
What do you mean?
Just like put their name.
Oh yeah. Well, I meant like they're on their Instagram.
Oh.
But they're not on their feed at all. There's no pictures of them together. I think that's weird.
I think people would say that about me.
No, you have ones
every
with
once
Justin.
in a while. Yeah. Amy
But
Duncan was like, nice. I didn't even know that you had a boyfriend.
Oh, I mean, people would know.
Yeah. But I completely agree with you.
Like no sign. And you're just like,
Are you shamed? Actually, no, for like a lot of Instagram thoughts, they can't have their boyfriends on there. It's part of the illusion. For a lot of like those and also like the teen heartthrobs, you can't really have your...
I think about that once a week.
Yeah, because then people will ship you.
Totally.
You don't want to get shipped with the wrong person. So My shame of YouTube keeps me young. But we wanted to bring you this episode as a special episode this week because we know it is a day of love, with your friends, with yourself, with a partner, whatever it is. But we wanted to focus this episode solely on self-love and, things that we're working on, things that we've learned, and kind of talk about our self-love journey. So you guys can use this as an impetus for you to start to reflect and to really, prioritize self-love and maybe to learn about self-love and to just get some insight into how we've kind of shifted our thinking on self-love in the past couple of years since starting the podcast and getting exposed to so many people that have different self-love practices and ideals.
Yeah. I mean, the relationship with yourself sets the tone for every other relationship. So, we've just found that certain practices or rituals have helped us to get closer to who we really are. And so much of, and we'll go into it, but so much of my life has been like looking outside of myself for the answers and the direction and the green lights to go and do what I want to do. So I think the practice of self-love is really just coming back to yourself in any way that really resonates with you.
Yeah. There is this article I want to link for you guys, and it said, talks about what self-love is really beautifully. It says, self-love is a state of appreciation for oneself that grows from actions that support our physical, psychological, and spiritual growth. Self-love is dynamic. It grows by actions that mature us. When we act in ways that expand self-love in us, we begin to accept much better our weaknesses as well as our strengths, have less need to explain away our shortcomings, have compassion for ourselves as human beings struggling to find personal meaning, are more centered in our life, purpose, and values, and expect living fulfillment through our own efforts. And that is by Deborah Koshaba. And I will post the article on our site. But I thought that was a really, really beautiful way to put it.
That's really beautiful. We had one of our sweet members of Almost 30 Nation in the group ask recently how she can spice things up in the bedroom. And I was like, well,
let me tell you.
Let me tell you from experience. No, but I mean, my first thought was like, it's easy to add, woo, more play.
I know.
Truly.
I ran out the other day and I actually, it kind of it really threw me off, to be honest. It really is. So Justin and I use Woo More Play. We've been using it for the past months now, and it just spices things up, makes it more enjoyable, makes it easier. Like, especially when, this is TMI, but when you've been dating someone for a long time, like you're not doing foreplay like you used to.
Totally.
So the lube is key. And I love that Woo More Play is all natural. You can eat it. It tastes good. It is cruelty-free, gluten-free, all of the things. And it is just my go-to lube brand.
Yeah, it has a virgin coconut oil base. So I don't know if you know, but it kills germs and, any viruses, bacteria, anything like that, just keeps it really clean. It also has vanilla essence, which tastes and smells delicious. It also promotes sexual arousal, and it has beeswax. So, that's going to rehydrate you. It relieves pain and promotes relaxation as well. And it's a little sweet, as Krista mentioned. Yes. You can eat it. So if you'd like to try Woo More Play, you can go to woomoreplay.com, WOOMOREPLAY.com. You can use our code ALMOST30 for 10% off your first purchase. So that's woomoreplay.com. Use our code ALMOST30 for 10% off.
This morning in my beautiful morning ritual, I was so happy to have some of Further Foods turmeric tonic. It is the best golden milk, little warm, sugar-free latte, has no additives or fillers, no natural sweeteners, no sugar period, and it feels so delicious to have it in the morning during my morning routine.
It's delicious. It's really great for inflammation. Sometimes I wake up and I'm a little bit inflamed, depending on what I did the day before. So it's actually become something I substitute any caffeine that I want. This really takes care of me in such a better way. And I just really trust Further Foods.
Me too. I love that they're a woman-owned company. They test everything so intensely. So it's expert approved. It's only the highest quality. They source every ingredient themselves. And the collagen peptides, which are bomb, they have marine ones. They also have gelatin, which is really, really good for hair, skin, and nails. All of their products are super clean, of the highest quality, and amazingly delicious and great to add to your routine.
Yeah, and we love that they donated a portion of their proceeds every year to a nonprofit that gives back and raises awareness for specific chronic illnesses. So this year, they donated their profits to Mindful Health Gives, a nonprofit dedicated to helping cancer patients and their caregivers. So we really love that. You can try Further Foods at furtherfoods.com and use the code almost30 for 30% off. That's a great discount.
Yeah.
So Further Foods, FURTHER foods.com. Use the code almost30 for 30% off. What has your journey been like?
Let's see. So, for me, self-love, I don't know. It's hard because I wonder if I was doing it, but didn't know it was called self-love, or, because for me, I'm like, I don't think I had a self-love practice until the most recent years, but I don't know if that's just being short-sighted in the way that I define self-love now. And maybe I did have ways of, practicing self-love, but I think as I've, turned 30 and coming into my own, there's so much more on my plate. So it almost forces me to do acts of self-love or to love myself, and to be on a public platform, speaking to you guys every week for many hours a week. I have to learn self-love so that I can show up and that I can be the best version of myself for you. But, I definitely never really had a strong sense of self-love. I don't think in my family it's something that people do. I don't think it was encouraged, where I was growing up, to really love yourself or to have any acts of self-love. Maybe people would have thought it would be like getting a manicure, for real, or like eating ice cream when you're sad. But it was all pretty shallow, and, but that's what everyone knew. And I was a part of that. That's what we knew and we understood. But, since moving to LA, the understanding of like what self-love means and what we can do to love ourselves more, to understand ourselves more, to accept ourselves more is just so much greater. And, information like what you guys get from Almost 30 podcast hopefully helps you to incorporate more self-love practices into what you do every day.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there was kind of I was confused, like subconsciously confused. So I was kind of taught by my parents and people older than me, but close to me, to focus on my talents and really focus on myself. Like that was there. That was definitely there. But with an energy of you sacrifice in order to get there. So there wasn't this self-nurturing that was happening in order to reach my goals or to hone my talents. It was, you have to sacrifice, you have to put in the work at the expense of your friendships, your free time, your health, whatever it was. So that process was kind of skewed from a very young age. And then also, even though like the people I loved most were telling me to do all these things for myself and be independent and all of that, they weren't really exemplifying what self-love looked like. So I think as a kid, it's very hard to put that into practice if you don't have those examples living and breathing in front of you. And I'm sure you can relate. And I do think it's a generational thing. I mean, my parents lived for their kids, period, the end. They did not live for themselves, So I hope, and I know actually that we will be doing it differently. I know that it is of utmost importance that when I do have kids and I'm, in a relationship, that I take care of myself first in order to better serve them. But what I grew up with was I was more apt to nurture and take care of other people before myself, because that is quote unquote the right thing to do or the honorable thing to do.
That's what love is.
Exactly. So I never saw people fill up their own cup before filling mine. So that's what I would do forever and ever in relationships and friendships. And then I was like, wait, why do I feel empty? Like, why does this not feel fulfilling? And so it's like the work now in present day that's just kind of unwrapping that. And it's interesting when kids are kind of sent these messages that are clear to the adults that they're sending, but then the adults aren't exemplifying that, I guess.
Like what's an example of that?
An example would be, I think with my dad and his health, like he was an athlete when he was a kid and into his early adulthood, like a semi-professional athlete, and knew the importance and value of, 10-hour practice days and good nutrition and focus and all that. And then when I was playing tennis a lot, he would kind of put that on me, like his experience and what works and he was my coach. And so, but at the time, what I was seeing him doing was quite the opposite of taking care of himself, not sleeping, not eating well, and other things. His stress levels were through the roof. So it was really hard for me to comprehend like the action and results when he wasn't really doing it himself. That almost overwhelmed me. I guess I'm like kind of empathetic in that way, like where his energy, like I could feel, and like I didn't get that because I wasn't standing with the young adult who was putting in the practice and eating right and doing all the right things. Like I was standing with someone who wasn't doing that. Because I do think like kids need that visual, need that energy of what they're supposed to be doing instead of just being told with words,
Yeah. So it's almost like he would say these things, but not be the example of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if back then, if like the example of it didn't exist, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like our knowledge and understanding of fitness and health and like what it takes to be great is so much deeper now. And I'm sure that he didn't know.
Completely. But yeah, I've just seen it my whole life. And there's more examples of like
sure.
intimate examples of like relationship examples with them. And I think as you get older, you kind of resent that. You're like, well, I didn't see that. So how could I do it? But yeah, I've been able to, and one of my self-love, practices is creating boundaries. Like, so with them and their relationship, I love and adore them, but that particular relationship, I found myself almost becoming obsessed with fixing and obsessed with analyzing and being happy or sad about or frustrated or hopeful for, like just all the emotions. And I'm like, oh, that's not my relationship. That is not my relationship. And I need to step back and really create a clear boundary energetically. And it's definitely helped to realize what I'm projecting onto them that I actually really want, so I really, and I was talking to you about this the other day, where I really want affection, and I'm projecting onto their relationship the fact that they're not showing affection or whatever it is. Like, I'm sure a lot of you can relate with your parents. It's just a different generation and how they show their love. So I'm like, they don't show affection. And I'm like, wait a second. Like, I really want affection, like it's really me. So that's been helpful in terms of tuning in to my own needs, maybe what's missing or what I'm doing in excess or where I can, just kind of tune in and listen more.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful. And I know it's like with the boundaries thing as an act of self-love, it feels weird, but like it's not your journey. It's not your story. Unfortunately with the parents, I think about my boundaries too, which I set a long time ago, almost like as a way to defend, like protect myself. I set boundaries probably like 6 years ago with my family that really, really stand true today. But in doing so, probably a way as like a act of rebellion, but now has just been such a way for me to figure out who I am, to be myself, to manage my emotions more so, because I would just get sucked into their emotions, their feelings, what my parents were working on. And I'm not probably going to be the best person for them to learn lessons from because I'm a kid, so in their eyes. So it would be like so much energy that I'd be wasting on trying to change them, fix them. And they probably feel the same about me, to be honest. So yeah, I think the boundaries with family are so important too, especially when you want the best for them. You want love for them. You want all of these things, but they're stuck in a pattern. I'm not saying your parents are stuck in a pattern, but my parents in my case are stuck in a certain patterning in their life. And it just takes so much more to, change people. And it might be someone that they hear on a podcast one day that says one thing that changed their life, but it's probably not going to be me that's going to be doing that. So yeah, boundaries is a huge thing for self-love with family or even in your workplace, relationships that you have in your workplace or friendships that you have. If you need to create boundaries with a friend, maybe someone shares too much, or maybe someone needs a little bit more than you can give. I had to set a boundary with a friend about 2 years ago because I wasn't, at a place where I could be that person for them that would continuously be talking about certain things or reliving certain things, or, the energetic expenditure that I had was not able to, fulfill that person at that time. So I had to set a friendship boundary. And I think that it's really hard. And, I would say that the friendships that I've had to create boundaries with, or boundaries have been created with me, are some of the hardest times and some of the hardest things to realize. But that has to be for you to be, you to be living in the body you are, the life that you want to live. You need to make sure that you are taking care of your energy and you are being mindful of like who's taking it and who could be taking a little bit too much of it, leaving none for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Boundaries is beautiful. So that is one of the first ways that we have really flipped or really rethought self-love. And mine is, or one that I've really been working on is being really honest. So when I was in Vancouver, I met this woman. Her name is Clarette of Clarette Wellness. Her name is Colette of Clarette Wellness out of Vancouver. And I got an amazing facial from her. She's an intuitive. I talked about this before, but she really encouraged me to be more honest and to speak my truth more, to speak my mind more. That is something that I've been really doing this year, is being present enough in the moment to respond in the way that I would want to have myself respond if I was thinking about it 5 minutes from now. So there's oftentimes so many times in our life where someone will say something or something will happen and we're like, oh, I wish I would have said this. Oh, I wish I would have replied and said this. I think about that often, when someone says something that maybe was a little off color, or, a comment was made or a situation happened where I wish that I had been more present, that I could have replied. And, right now I'm working on being so present that I can honestly reply and participate in every situation and part of my life. So with the honesty, it is a little uncomfortable, and at times it can be a little harsh seeming, and it doesn't feel necessarily natural for me to be very clear and very honest with everyone. And that means being honest about what feels aligned to me, what doesn't feel aligned to me, what aligns for almost 30, what doesn't feel aligned, any feedback I have with anyone that we do business with, any feedback I have with Justin, any feedback that I have with whoever in my life. But being really honest has been something that just makes my soul sing. That I am confident enough in the belief of what I'm saying, so much so that I can say it very clearly and honestly, and know that on the other side, if they take it negatively, that we could work through that, and that it's okay if emotions arise on my end or their end, and knowing that I am supportive enough in how I feel, and giving people the opportunity to support me and to be very honest. My new favorite treat, and I eat the whole bar, is the L'Encanto monk fruit chocolate.
Oh,
so
yeah.
bomb. You guys, it's 220 calories for the entire bar, I think. And it is, you don't need to eat the whole bar, but it is amazing and made with monk fruit. And I get it from Thrive. It's been the best.
They have it all.
Yes,
I truly
they do.
don't need to go anywhere.
I know, honestly.
They have my favorite layered superfood. So I actually mix that up with everything and anything. So I mix it with teas. I mix it with a matcha. I mix it with coffee.
Every Four Sigmatic thing that I have too.
Yeah, it's so good. And I'm also digging, because I'm just becoming a little bit more conscious about what goes on in the wine industry. I am digging the Thrive Market clean wine. So they're made from organic, biodynamic, or sustainably farmed grapes. It matters. So they're really thoughtful about this. So this is a hub where you can go to find wine that is, good for you and as clean as possible. So I really love that about Thrive. But overall, you will be saving an additional 25 to 50% on traditional retail prices at Thrive. It's incredible.
I just love how they have, just like you talked about with the wine, it's like a place that I could trust. And I know that every product is going to be on point as far as healthy, organic, forward thinking, and thoughtful. They have their standards that they really, really stick to. So whatever's on their site, I could pretty much trust that is going to be a great product that is good for me.
Yeah. And lastly, what's great is that every paid membership, a free membership is given to a low income family, public school teacher, military veteran, or first responder. So we love them. thrivemarket.com/almost30 for 25% off. So that's thrivemarket.com/almost30 for 25% off.
I am so excited that one of my favorite brands, Chosen Foods, has a new product that Justin has been using and loving, and me as well.
Has he been using the whole thing?
Yeah, he seriously used the whole thing. It's their avocado oil infused spray. So they have multiple flavors that you can use for things like pancakes. If you want something sweet, you can have an amazing Simply Cinnamon or warm gingerbread avocado-based oil spray. Or if you're cooking something like chicken or something that's a little bit more savory, you can use garlic or my favorite, chipotle.
I love using these sprays because when you're cooking with avocado oil, the smoke point is 500 degrees. So it's not releasing any toxins into your food or into the air, which I wasn't really aware of before this. And these flavors are so delicious. They really take the time to source natural organic ingredients to infuse their oils. And it shows. I love them so much.
Same.
So if you guys want to try these new infused avocado oil sprays or any of their dressings, things like that at Chosen Foods, which we love, you can go to chosenfoods.com/almost30 and use our code almost30 for 50% off your order of $10 or more.
Seriously.
So that's chosenfoods.com/almost30 and use the code almost30 for 50% off your order of $10 or more. I think that's a really good point about giving people the opportunity to respond to your honest thought or feedback, because so often we just assume that they are going to be hurt or freak out or take it the wrong way. And I don't think we're giving people, and I literally am the biggest perpetrator of that. And I don't think we're giving people the credit that they deserve, that they are evolving too. And maybe this moment is just as much of a learning experience for them as it is for you. And I think what's helped me too, and I've been kind of watching you do it, and it inspires me to do it more often as well, that to insert a breath before whatever it is you want to say that is maybe honest or something you wouldn't normally say, because you're used to just keeping it, comfortable or PC or whatever it is. But the breath really helps to ground not only myself, but the other person. And it's looking into their eyes and just kind of taking in the situation or whatever they just said. And because then instead of they say something and you're it just comes out, and then the person is automatically put on the defense, or their nervous system is a little bit shocked by that quick response. So if you are thoughtful enough to take a moment, I think they'll be able to settle into whatever you're going to say and take it in a way that would be, productive on the other side.
That's a good point. Yeah, I completely agree with that. And when you were talking, it reminded me that the honesty needs to come from a place that is where you are being mindful, so I'm doing my best to be mindful in everything I do in life, to meditate, to, do all of these things. So when I have an honest thought, I definitely check it through. I definitely like run it through a little bit of a filter in not, maybe changing a little bit of the verbiage to what I'm saying to make it a little bit softer. But really to make sure that, it's coming from not an ego-driven place. It's coming from a place of truly, this is how I feel. And this needs to be said to get to a better place.
Yes.
So as an example, within our business, there was something that needed to be said, a piece of feedback that normally in a situation, I probably wouldn't have said it. I probably would have let it go. But for our business, it was very important that I clearly communicated something that I was feeling, because they never had the opportunity to receive that feedback. They wouldn't have known. And it is for the benefit of the business, and it has nothing to do personally. So, my active self-care 2019 is to continue to be honest, continue to be a big old bitch, be a big old bitch, and just be really upfront with people and be really present with people. Be also really kind, but to fully express, what I'm thinking in the best way possible has been like really empowering.
What a high to be honest and kind.
Yo,
you know what I mean? Like when I say something that is honest and kind and comes from a heart-centered place, I just feel so fucking good. It almost does not matter their reaction, because I'm like, I came from a place of love and I know it. And it just
completely
so
agree.
So good. Something else that I've been doing or wanting to practice more is like honoring the space between where I am and what I want. So it's like, yes, we have goals, and yes, we have things on the calendar and things to look forward to and deadlines and all these exciting things, right? But I find myself not being so present on the in-between. So I think, there's room to have more fun. There's room to not think so much on the in-between and just kind of like allow yourself to move with the energy around you and to get out in nature more. For me, my habit would be to just, okay, so I have to be doing something right now because I have a destination, a goal, a thing that I need to achieve. So I should be doing something that works towards that. And just not putting as much pressure on that time. Like I believe if the why is clear with what we are doing and what we're working towards, that space in between will be naturally inspiring, will be naturally nourishing to us as people, and will help us to evolve. Yeah, I guess that's the idea of just like being more instead of doing more. Yeah.
And honoring where you are.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause one scroll on Instagram and I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. Like I could be somewhere else and I could be doing this and I could be doing more of that, and they're there. And the fact that they're there, maybe there's no room for me. There's just this major detrimental FOMO. Anytime I slip into the comparison game, and if I sit down and really think and feel into my body of where I am really happy and proud.
Yes, completely agree. Yeah. And I think as the last one, just living as intentionally as possible. We're so lucky that almost 30 provides us the opportunity to live so intentionally. But even before that, I always had the intention to find something that would help me be the best version of myself to change the world. So finding opportunities within your life to live more intentionally are acts of self-care.
Yeah.
Whether that's to intentionally love your partner the most you can on a Tuesday, to really fill up their cup and see them for everything that they are. Or if that's to take 5 minutes for your tea in the morning and to think about how far you've come in the past year, or if it's to live intentionally, to serve others. There are so many ways that you can practice self-love by just living your life with intention with everything you do. Mm-hmm. And by doing that, there are things that will fall out of the way, whether it's I mean, everyone does it, but scrolling Instagram or, watching shows that don't serve you or eating crap food that makes you feel bad. If you live life aligned, all of the things that don't make sense for you will fall out.
Completely. That's such a good one.
Love it. So we have boundaries, which is a big one. We have honesty. We have honoring yourself in the process as you grow. And then we have living intentionally as our 4 favorite ways to practice self-love right now, February 2019. So we would love to hear how you guys are practicing self-love this February for Valentine's Day. You can DM us or you can share it on Instagram, and then you can also mention it. We'll be having a conversation about this in the secret Facebook group. It would mean so much to continue the conversation about how we can love ourselves more.
We love you guys. Thank you so much for listening as always. And if this episode resonates with you, maybe you share it with the people that are closest with you. That's how we grow. And we really do appreciate it on a very deep level. So happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Love you.
I love you.